Check. This NFL DFS Picks Week 6 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers, where you can win 100x. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. And we're giving away $3,000 in our NFL Second Chance Survivor contest presented by Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. Free to enter. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Hola, Sean.
Hola. Hey, happy Friday the 13th, Ryan.
Oh,
Freaky Friday.
Is it Friday the 13th?
Yes, it is.
Wow. Also, my mom's birthday. I did remember that yesterday. God bless the internet, and next day flower delivery. It worked out. Everything survived. So yeah, happy Friday the 13th, Sean.
Friday the 13th. Yeah, we're out here live at the beautiful Wynn in Las Vegas doing our DFS Picks episode. Of course, doubleheader on Friday. Make sure you tune in to VSiN, 9 o'clock Pacific, doing Sports Gambling Podcast live. We got our first touchdown bets, last touchdown. We got dogs giving out dogs. Tim Murray joining us from the VSiN Network. So a lot of great stuff going on. But Ryan, we got DFS picks.
Well, yeah, you mean winners.
Yes.
DFS winners.
DFS winners. That's all we give out.
That's
on
the
here.
problem. We've been calling them picks. We've been neglecting our sweet DFS lineups. I've not had a great season, Sean. How about you?
Yeah, I've done all right. I'm hanging around.
Best lineup I think we gave out was together when we smashed the uncorrelated A.J. Brown with Mr. Josh Allen on the double.
I did do a last-second Jalen Hurts related A.J. Brown lineup last week that got me 200 points in DraftKings.
What was that good for?
$60.
Trash.
Now, that's how crazy the scoring has changed. Back when I got second place in the Million Maker and won 200 grand, my score was only 197. So I outscored that score, and I only won $60. Last week was a very high-scoring week, but all my dudes had flames except two guys.
You sound like Colby. It's the passing offense. It's ruining the game.
All these optimizers
What are you, a
and
super
mass
flexor?
entries.
Yeah, how many entries you fire? 150? Loser.
And we will be joined by SGPN Football Doc here, Ryan, in just a second. First, shout out Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the National Football League. Counting down the days till I get me some more Little Caesars because I love I call it C's Sunday. Little Caesars Sunday. It just pairs perfectly. Football, pizza, the NFL. We live in a country, Ryan, where you can get a pepperoni pizza piled high.
Check.
With like inches of you're knee deep in pepperoni, and you got the pretzel crust and the cookie dough brownie and the Caesar wings, all on a sweet, sweet Sunday. Order online during our Pizza pregame, 1 hour before and 3 hours after NFL kickoffs, plus all day Sunday. It just goes perfectly. You get a nice pair of sweatpants. You got yourself a Little C's Sunday delivery, and that's that. If you haven't had Little Caesars in a while, yes, convenient delivery or their in-store pizza portal pickup. Grab some friends, grab a few slices, and enjoy the game. Little Caesars Pizza. Joining us on the line, you know him, you love him, the SGPN Football Doc, a.k.a. Sebastian. What's happening, Sebastian?
How we doing, guys? What's up, gentlemen? I can smell Vegas through the interwebs, man. Woo! Friday's here. Let's go.
Yes.
I do like how the only one here drinking is Sebastian.
Yeah. Well,
He's in the future. He is in the future.
He's on the East Coast time zone, so 3:39. That's a great time to crack open a cold one.
Yeah, it's basically 4 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock somewhere, and close enough.
We round up in the military.
Yeah, exactly. The military guys, they've been up since 5 a.m., so this is plenty early to start getting into it. Start cracking some cold ones.
We had to adjust the schedule this week to make sure we could get Sebastian on. Because there are tons of injury news throughout the NFL landscape. Need to get updates on all of it. But the biggest injury news out there seems to be non-injury related.
Oh.
The Cleveland Browns have made 2 big announcements this week. One, P.J. Walker is now their backup quarterback. So if you're keeping track at home, this is now the second Bears backup quarterback related announcement in the 2023 season.
Watson.
Secondly, they've also announced that Deshaun Watson is not injured anymore. Yet the injury report says DNP shoulder, and Deshaun Watson himself says no comment, which is a weird thing to plead the fifth for an injury-related football incident. So we got to ask, Sebastian, is this are we dealing with maybe a relapse of this rotator cuff issue?
Yeah, I mean, so I will speak officially, right? They're calling it a rotator cuff strain. So typically, and it's to his throwing arm, which would affect the throwing arm. But there is way too much not being talked about, which is what scares me, all the kind of behind the scenes stuff. So I'll let you guys kind of speculate on that one. But as far as the shoulder injury, yeah, concerning that he hasn't practiced at all. That's the biggest thing. It's to his throwing arm. So, it's kind of up in the air there. We may see PJ Walker for a little bit because he hasn't practiced in any capacity.
I'll say it. I'll happily say it. I think he might have had a relapse. Unapproved massage happened. At minimum,
have to know when to come.
At minimum, he went down to the sleazy part of town. He found the massage parlor that happens to have a neon sign in the window, and he went to go see if the non-team masseuse could work out the rotator cuff issue.
He needed some help for his shoulder. Things got crazy once again for Deshaun Watson. What else could the reason be? It's very weird because the team has gone out of their way to say Deshaun Watson is medically clear.
Reminds me of the NBA.
Yeah. What is he opting out for? He got $250 million guaranteed.
Just why play?
Is it just like, hey, I'm getting paid regardless? It's like one of those days where your boss is trying to get you to stay late on a Friday or come in and you're like, hey, I have these PTO days. I'm going to get these days regardless. He's getting paid regardless whether he shows up, and that's the problem. That's why you can't give a guy like Deshaun Watson $250 million guaranteed. You've eliminated all his motivation to show up to the office.
It's a lot of massages.
I mean, is there any sort of injury thing going on here that we couldn't be aware of, doctor?
Listen, so not to make this the conspiracy theory podcast, but let's just say, I don't know, maybe it's the optimist in me. Maybe he's on the path to recovery. Maybe he realized that he needs to stop outsourcing his pleasure centers. So maybe it's been a while, and he's starting to self-service himself.
Oh, and that's what got the rotator cuff. He's trying to get.
Hey, that took down.
He's been outsourcing it for a while.
That took down Big Ben for like half a season. Remember that?
Yeah,
he cranked it too much in the off season, and he had tennis elbow.
This is I can't, because if he did something,
Yin's elbow.
If this was a secret suspension, then I think the team would be the one like leading the charge of like, oh, he's still recovering, blah blah blah. But the team is like, he should be playing.
No, I think they're disappointed. I think they're saying exactly what they would say in the case where if something happened, new information came to light. New information about the same stuff came to light. The NFL doesn't want to talk about it right now. The Browns don't want to talk about it right now. Watson doesn't want to talk about it right now. It actually makes a lot more sense that the Browns would do this. The Browns what are you going to do if your quarterback relapse? You're going to talk about who your new starter is, but you're going to say new backup. You're going to talk about why your quarterback that relapsed isn't going to play, and the quarterback that never talked the entire time is going to say something like no comment. I think we might be onto something here, Sean.
It definitely, I'll say this, it definitely doesn't seem just his shoulder.
No.
That seems like the least likely explanation.
Performance-related, maybe. Maybe it's a secret benching.
Now, there are a bunch of other injuries, and of course we're going to be getting our DFS lineups. I would love to know, what do you make of the running back situation out of Chicago? It seems now that Deonta Foreman is the guy.
Yeah, news just dropped. Johnson out this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, breaking news, right? So you Homer, Herbert, and Johnson all out, right? So that takes the guesswork out of it. It really makes it easy. So this is something that, I put it out this morning. You probably want to grab Deonta Foreman now before the news breaks. Roshan Johnson was dealing with that concussion. I don't know, call it the Tua effect, but typically, throughout historically, we saw guys come back within a week. This season, you rarely are seeing, especially an offensive player, come back and he's going to miss at least one game. There was a little bit more hope because he got injured Thursday, but yeah, he's officially out. So Deonta Foreman, not to get into something, he may show up a little bit later in the show for me, but I like Deonta Foreman this week.
Couple other big injury news, relative at least, especially for DFS. Miles Sanders is out. It seems like Chuba Hubbard is the guy there. What about Zay Jones? It looks like he's listed as doubtful. Do you think that impacts the Jags at all? And who do you think maybe benefits with that? Does that help Christian Kirk?
Yeah. So I think you hit it right on the head, right? So they're expecting him not to play. They haven't officially ruled him out, but doubtful in the NFL pretty much means out. So I'm not expecting Zay Jones there. He's picked up. It's a knee injury that they haven't talked a lot about, but it seems like he had it and then he got it back. So I'm not exactly sure if it's the same knee injury, but he's not going to be in this week. I think, you hit it. Christian Kirk, I think, is the guy who really you want to target. I just don't fully trust Calvin Ridley. He kind of disappears some games.
Yeah.
So I actually like Kirk a little bit more here this week than I would go Ridley.
Now, what about the New York Football Giants? My sources, a.k.a. Ryan, said Danny Dimes was a go. And now I open up the news apps, and it's saying Tyrod Taylor. What happened to Daniel Jones's neck between yesterday and today that all of a sudden he is out?
Yeah, you want to know why I'm drinking at 3:30 on a Friday? No, man, the Giants have just been rough this year. So, yeah, neck injury. It does not seem like it was bad as the one that he suffered in 2021 where it knocked him out for the season. They've came out and said that. Initially, there was kind of a scare there. Seems to be just like some general soreness, some muscle kind of contusion issue. But, yeah, there was optimism he was going to play, and then for whatever reason, he felt sore the next day, and he just didn't practice the rest of the week. Andrew Thomas is out. Rookie center John Michael Schmitz is out. Our swing tackle is out. So, honestly, if I was him, I'd sit out too. I mean, this
opting out of football.
Is just one of those things.
Maybe this is the first good coaching thing that Dable's done all year. Maybe don't start the guy. Just throw Tyrod out to the Wolves in the revenge game. Sean, the Giants, and this is relatively late too. Apparently, Neal was not out there at practice today. The Giants will be playing this game potentially with no tackles. So
now, what are they? Now, are I mean, no tackles. Are they going to line someone up there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no one who is naturally a tackle will be playing tackle. I put this poll out earlier.
No one who identifies as a tackle will be playing.
Who should be held accountable if a team lacks the players to make up a complete roster?
See, I voted for the coach there.
GM, coach, quarterback, or offensive line?
I voted coach because this is clearly a cop-out to take some of the heat off Brian Dable.
What's impressive here is somehow quarterback only got 4%. I thought quarterback.
I'm voting for multiple accounts for coach. The fact that Dable is just getting such a pass here, he's not responsible for the injuries, but he has gotten a pass for what has not been a well-coached team this year.
It's
I might
go ahead.
I might push back on the whole Dable not responsible for the injuries because I mean we've as all of America saw. We've got our asses kicked multiple times, and he's left Daniel Jones in the game to the last whistle, taking multiple hits. So, I mean, he could have avoided some of those if he would have pulled them like a normal kind of coach, but something's fucked up there. I don't know what's going on in that situation.
It's the crack in the armor because if you're going to be this country club pro player coach and you're going to do all these things in the guise of player health, load management, you can't then decide, Andrew Thomas, play through a hamstring injury for 2 quarters in a game we're down by 4 touchdowns. That makes sense. Or keep the quarterback out until the very end. Or even better, your rookie punt returner drops a ball and you decide to put Adoree Jackson back there again. That's how he got hurt last year. So I would say that's the area I would hold the coach accountable. Sean.
That's why I voted coach, Ryan.
No, but that wasn't my question. So again, you're just trying to hijack the platform.
No, I'm just asking interesting fantasy questions.
Collect all the karma you need.
No,
and then be sad when your team loses again in heartbreaking fashion.
I'm always sad when my team loses.
Yeah.
I hope you guys feel the
again.
competitive team this year.
No, it's going to happen. You don't mean that. You're lying. You're just saying.
I do.
This.
I like when the Giants are competitive. You're less angry. Sebastian.
It's better for the show when they suck.
One injury I've been keeping an eye on is T. Higgins. Now, it seemed like he wasn't going to play. Now, according to T. Higgins, and these players are the least reliable, with the exception of Austin Eckler, who has a podcast and is held accountable via podcast reviews. All these guys just say, yeah, I'm going to play on Sunday. And then I've fallen for it a couple times where you're like, oh, he says he's playing. He's good. And then, of course, he doesn't play. T. Higgins is saying now that he can play. He can play without a flap jacket. He's dealing with the rib injury. I'm interested in this guy in particular because if he doesn't play, Trenton Irwin, who is only 3,300 in the DFS Millie Maker this week, he had like 11 targets last week. So he is a very interesting play if T. Higgins is out. But if T. Higgins is out there, Trenton Irwin is a complete waste. So what do you make of T. Higgins? Do you think he guts it out and plays? It seems like that, but what's your read?
Yeah, so T. Higgins, yeah, definitely someone. So rib fracture, right? So he was talking about he was going to play even last week, and I was saying, listen, even if he plays, you want to avoid him. I'm more thinking he's maybe active, but I'm still kind of avoiding him in this situation. So rib fractures take up to 6 weeks to fully heal. Typically 2 weeks is the earliest you'll see someone try to gut through it. I mean, this is an injury where every time he turns, every time he laughs, every time he coughs, like he's going to feel some pain. He's already kind of catch a little bit of the yips this year with some drops, and, he's not looked the best. So he's someone that, I'm not really targeting, and someone who I would probably be sitting this week. But he may actually be active. He practiced in full Friday. So it's kind of one of those situations where he might be out there, but I don't expect a whole lot out of him. For the whole, Trent Irwin situation, Crocodile Hunter may not be the best play this week.
Well, and
That's not a slot receiver. This is a slot receiver.
That was a slot.
That was a horrible Dundee.
Bengals just had some media availability. Said that he would be a true game time decision.
Oh, well, these fuckers. Like, we're trying to set our lineups, Uzier. I thought Uzier was leaning out.
Both guys true. Well, both guys got in practices today.
Okay.
Both guys true game time decisions. I hate when coaches say that.
It is very annoying. Hey, you know what's not annoying? A free $3,000 second chance survivor. Yes, if you're listening to this, statistically, there's a good chance you've already been eliminated from your NFL Survivor.
Nope, not yet.
Well, right. I said a good percentage. We're already moving on to week 7. So you can join us because the Second Chance Survivor starts NFL Week 7. You can sign up now. Make sure you get in before it locks up. All you got to do is go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. We're giving away $3,000 for free. Shout out to Corey Pinkston and Barking Dog Properties. Truly just real man of D-Gens putting up this contest. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. Very easy. You guys know how Survivor works. Starting next week, but sign up now so you get in and lock up your spot. Ryan, hey, it's we're out here in beautiful Las Vegas traveling, which anytime I travel, you know what I got? My Manscaped travel bag, complete with my beard trimmer, aka the beard hedger. Or if you go with the clean shave, you can get the wet drive Manscaped Handyman, perfect for that stubbly look, that Jimmy G look, and of course, classic pube trimmers. No one can beat Manscaped.com. Love Manscaped. It's just a great product. The Beard Hedging Pro Kit has everything you need to tame your mane. Don't be a wolf man out there. They also wanted to remind you they were the ones who came up with Balloween last year. They are topping it this year with their Beard Hedger. It's a high-tech piece of art. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code SGP at manscaped.com. 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com for a look as sweet as candy. Get yourself the handy man from Manscaped. Sebastian, you have the floor. What do you who are you selecting for your quarterback in this DFS lineup?
All right, yeah. So real quick, just to go back a little bit to the Bengals here, as we were talking about quarterbacks. So I was a little bit surprised, to get the message from Kramer about coming on because, I might have heard miscorrectly, but yes, I did mistakenly say that Joe Burrow was a sit last week. Do apologize, but I don't know if I'm still a medical professional. I might not be able to diagnose a gunshot wound, but I thought I caught a stray talking about how, I don't know, anybody on Twitter giving their takes, maybe not a real medical professional.
Ryan was...
Yeah, maybe...
Well, you got it. Ryan was heated up. He's got to throw someone under the bus. He found SGPN football doc.
I realized that I was directing that on everyone else that wasn't you.
Yes.
I appreciate you listening.
No, it's all good, man. I definitely ate shit on that Joe Burrow take last week.
See, now how many networks have a medical professional willing to admit they ate shit? This is why you can trust his opinions. When he makes a mistake, he's like, "Hey, I ate shit on that one." I've never heard these other football docs go like, "Oh yeah, I totally fucked that one up."
I mean, pro football doc doesn't even acknowledge his time with the Chargers.
Well, don't Google pro football doc and Junior Seau. Do not, whatever you do not Google that.
I wouldn't do that. I definitely wouldn't do that. Unless you had some time.
Yeah, unless you want to go down a rabbit hole. It's kind of sad. Sebastian, quarterback, what do you got?
All right. Yes, all right. Sorry to go off topic there. Matt Stafford. Give me Matty Stafford, 6,100. I liked how that offense looked last week. I think, of course, the Dirty Eagles got away with the victory last week there. But this is the highest total on the board going against the Cardinals this week, which, I mean, I don't know if obviously you guys have looked at the board. We're talking about might be some ugly games this week. If there's ever a week to try to get Mr. Database on the NFL, this might be it. This kind of a little bit of an ugly spread. But I like Matt Stafford there. I think with Cooper Kupp coming back, I don't have much concerns about Cooper Kupp going forward. He showed that he's good to go. Puka Nacua, I think they're going to really have their way with this Cardinals defense.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. Kramer, what do you like here at your quarterback? Do I fire up a new lineup because I also have Stafford?
Oh.
Do I pivot to my Jalen Hurts lineup?
Yeah.
All right.
People love when you give out Eagles in your DFS.
Well, Jalen Hurts with Devonta Smith, I think is a fun
I think
build.
you should do it.
All right.
Let's diversify the show.
What do you got for your what do you got going on, Ryan?
Well, it's funny. I was listening to the one reputable internet doctor, and he had this bad take last week about Joe Burrow, but I wanted to show him that I stand with him. So give me Joe Burrow coming off the best game of the year. He's clearly fucking healthy now, even though I was lied to by everyone that isn't Sebastian. And maybe Sebastian caught a stray. But he's 6,300, a little bit of a discount for Joey B. I know this game could have a little bit of weather, but I like this angle. I like the way this roster ended up building out for me. I like some of the games it gets me into, including that Rams game that Sebastian was talking about. So we're riding it back-to-back weeks. You mentioned, Sean, that you couldn't see the same quarterback winning a milli back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. I will say the other lineup that almost made the show, it was a Justin Fields lineup. And I was a dead serious Justin Fields lineup. No trolling.
No, really?
Really.
And who are you
It was going to be revolutionary because it's a double bring back. It's a double bring back Justin Fields lineup.
So Justin Fields, and then who else are you playing?
Foreman and a double bring back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Shit you've never seen before.
All right.
And I will post it to Twitter, so don't worry. Stay tuned. At Kramer Centric.
All right. I'll zag here. Give me I do like Matt Stafford, and I probably have a lot of the same guys as Sebastian. So I'll just build a new lineup on the fly. I'm going to start with Baker Mayfield, $5,400.
Excellent.
At home. Mike Evans is getting healthy. This allows us to get super unique, super different. The bring back opportunities are pretty interesting on the Detroit side. So yeah, I'll kick it off. Baker Mayfield at home, $5,400.
I think you could double bring back that one as well.
Yeah, we'll see where I go.
A double.
Have you heard anything about Sam Laporta's injury, Sebastian? Because I know he was out of practice, then limited practice. I saw you had a red flag next to him. Are you putting Sam Laporta in a lineup?
Yeah, so I am not this week. Obviously, it's one of those situations where if you have them in a managed league in fantasy, like you kind of got to throw them out there because the tight end market is just a crapshoot right now. But he picked up a new calf injury on Wednesday. So anytime someone picks up an injury during the week, obviously they have less time to go ahead and rehab and get that healed. So he was out of practice yesterday, and then he was limited, but they just did a walkthrough today. So great, he walked around. That doesn't tell me a whole ton. Calf strains can be pretty bad because they're like hamstrings, they re-injure. So you typically see guys miss at least one game, if not two. So, we got to see how it seems like it's pretty mild. So he might try to give it a go, but I do not love Sam Laporta this week. Calf injuries, it just takes one time pushing off like we saw with Joe Burrow and you can get a re-injury. Right.
Boy.
So obviously Burrow's took a little bit longer than just the couple days.
And this is troubling because I think we might have to ask the question. Is the city of Detroit and the Lions now cursed since Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad talked shit about
They only
Kevin
have
Durant
calf injuries.
and his lack of ability to do a calf race?
I like that. The Motor City calf curse. Oh, man, so good. All right, so Sebastian, are we all playing Devonta Foreman, or is that going to
No, I don't have.
Okay, because are you going Deonta Foreman? You have to, right?
Yeah, he's. I mean, I had him in there, since before everyone was out, even because with everything. So yeah, he's in there for me. I mean, I can try to make a switch on the fly, but
no. I think I'm with you. I think it's a great spot for him.
Cash game lock.
Yeah.
Game
also
lock.
calling for some weather in that game too. So I mean, I think it's just gonna be an ugly game. I think the Bears, a la Justin Fields, if they just commit to the run, I think that they might have some success there against the Vikings, who without Justin Jefferson are looking for some identity this week.
They are. The Addison Osborne debate has been hot and heavy all week on X. Running back one, get me in the Rams game.
Kyren Williams?
You start to look around the league at who is just absolutely dominating the usage in the backfield. And, we thought this was going to be Cam Akers. We saw this as Cam Akers at the end of last year, but it's actually Kyren Williams. He's looked great. He's looked electric. I think you have to play him in this game because how many versions of this game get pushed to a high score without the Rams leading in this game by greater than a touchdown? So I think – and you see him coming off a game where he only got 13 carries against the Eagles, a natural buy low point. So I think we get back to seeing maybe something that looks a little bit closer to what we saw against the Colts, 25 carries. Kyren Williams, $6,500. Again, running back comments just seems like it's tough to dip below 6,000.
Yeah.
Really tough. And the guys who are beneath 6,000 who are smashes like Foreman are probably going to be just absolute chalk.
So I'm with you. I like that. I just finished my lineup over here. I'm going to copy your Kyren Williams pick.
Oh, wow.
I like Sebastian. I do have a lineup with Stafford, the double Puka Nacua and Cup stack. I think you can put together relatively easy. This is a nice pivot because we've seen, you can run on the Cardinals, you can pass on the Cardinals. Kyren Williams is their workhorse guy. It doesn't seem like there's much else going on in that backfield. 6,500 feels like a pretty good price. Running back's a weird slate this week because Achan is 7,400. He's on IR. David Montgomery, 7,300. That's interesting, although Tampa Bay is kind of okay against the run. They did let up a big game against DeAndre Swift, so I could see people talking themselves into David Montgomery. But Christian McCaffrey, 9,500 against that Browns defense. I can't quite go there. Whoa. So I like the Kyren play.
Yeah, and you have it's a product of who's out too, right? You have Eckler not on the slate, Barkley not on the slate. Some of the bigger dollar guys that typically fill that space are just not on the slate.
Yeah. What do you got for your second running back, Sebastian?
Yeah, apparently I'm as basic as a 13-year-old who just found the NFL game with Taylor Swift, man. I got Kyren Williams too at 6,500. Obviously, like you guys talked about, I think it's a great matchup. I do really like the Rams this week. I was pretty impressed with them. I had shout out to Dogs Were Barking. My dog Stella had the Rams on the money line there, so I was pretty heavily involved with her. So I did like how they looked despite getting shut down by the Eagles there in the second half. So I'm going to go with Kyren Williams. And you brought up David Montgomery. So real quick, if you see me peering over, it's because I'm trying to pull a Schefter and look at my phone. So it looks like Jahmyr Gibbs was just ruled out this week. So obviously, David Montgomery may get 60 carries. So
Though the like, hey, we're going to use Jahmyr Gibbs in a way that people have never seen before or aren't expecting, and then just he's not doing anything. Pretty hilarious. At least Bijan is looking electric.
Yeah, Bijan is looking electric.
I mean, the Lions could have drafted a lot of guys in that spot that actually
that linebacker I feel like is helping. I haven't done a deep dive, but
that was their second pick, though.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they've whiffed so far on that first guy.
All right, let's keep it going. I'll try to get unbasic here. Again, love buying the dip. It is a GPP lineup. Based on this conversation, I feel like maybe Kyren Williams and Deonta Foreman will be my first two cash lineup running backs. But second running back in this lineup, I like to stack with defenses, so it's going to take some of the mystery of who my defense. Everyone's favorite segment when we talk way too long about defenses. But give me Ramondre Stevenson, buying a little bit of a dip here.
This is a contrarian play.
5,400 against the Raiders. I watched the way the Raiders were giving up 6 yards a clip to A.J. Dillon, and for whatever reason, LaFleur just decided to not continue to pound the rock. I fully expect that Patrick Graham will sit back in some sort of conservative defense that will allow this. And I also think this is going to allow for a lot of check down stuff. Now, Zeke is going to be in there. He's going to get some carries. You look at the usage, it's probably a 2-3 or 2-1 in the carry department. But I do expect that Stevenson, in the way that Graham plays defense for this Raiders or coordinates the defense, he's going to have some check down opportunities. So this is the wild shot, 5,400, way below the running back Mendoza line. Ramondre Stevenson, 5,400, perhaps just buying back in.
Close your eyes, special mojo as well.
And just, was way in on Ramondre before the season, got a lot of best ball. So he fit into the lineup nicely, stacked with the defense nicely. So, yeah, Ramondre, 5,400.
Shout out to the chat. Chance in the chat saying, let's go, gentlemen. Love the DFS show. Patrick Fisher pointing out he's ready to go with the second chance survivor. ZD Mills, legend. He likes David Montgomery, 2 touchdown game loading.
I don't know.
I'm reading the chat.
Todd Bowles is a proud defensive-minded coach.
He's saying Raheem Mostert is a must start. No Achane or Wilson. I'm with you. Raheem Mostert, $6,400 at home against this Panthers defense. What am I missing here, Ryan? Like no Achane. Jeff Wilson is coming back from injury. They like running the ball. If they get up big, they certainly could pound it. When they put up 70 points, it was because Mostert had 4 touchdowns, so he has that spike game in him.
Yeah, the reason to not do it is everyone else is going to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson
is back. You can have a
back.
couple chalky plays, but
I've been debating this because even, again, for cash, it's like generally I like the 3 running back build, and he's another one with Kyren Williams who just slots in, and when you're spending down for Foreman.
How's the slot?
And you can still spend up. For me, it generally comes down to, am I playing Tyreek Hill in that lineup or not?
Yeah.
But I guess you've kind of been able to play both those guys anyway. But yeah, I have a feeling Jeff Wilson's going to do something this weekend. That would be the fun.
Ryan, stay tuned to our VSiN show because Jeff Wilson last touchdown. I haven't gotten the price yet, but that could be. Why are you shaking your head?
I feel proud as a teacher.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sensei Ryan.
Didn't even have to say it out loud.
Hey, just a friendly reminder, this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Oh, so many times in our lives, I know I've had these moments where you're sitting there, you're trying to go to bed, your mind's racing, your mind's telling you all these negative thoughts, or so many times you find yourself doing something, you're like, why am I doing this? This isn't helping me. Stop the war against you, right? The war against yourself. So many times we found ourselves in those experiences, and you got to find a way to make your brain your friend. BetterHelp is a perfect way to get that going. If you've started about thinking, hey, I could use someone to bounce some, talk it out a little bit, little closed door meeting. BetterHelp is the way to go. It's entirely online. It's super convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. All you do is fill out a questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. They make it super easy. All your hang-ups previously about why you wouldn't try therapy, BetterHelp has eliminated those. Visit BetterHelp.com/SGPN to get 10% off your first month. That's BETTER help.com/SGPN. Sebastian, help us out with receivers. What do you got for your first receiver?
All right, so first guy up, sticking with that Miami game, we're going to talk about Jalen Waddle, 7,600 there. So Panthers are really beat up. Not only do they suck, but their defense is really beat up. Both of their starting safeties are ruled out. Obviously, J.C. Horn is already out for the year. So they're going to do whatever they can. Any resources they have left are going to be allocated to trying to figure out what the hell to do with Tyreek Hill. I think Jalen Waddle, he hasn't really had one of those crazy big games that he had last year. He's getting healthier with the oblique thing that he was dealing with in the preseason. I think Jalen Waddle, this is the game where he can break one, if not two, to really get you something there.
Jeff Wilson, doubtful this weekend.
Yes, breaking news. Shout out to ZD Mills tossing that in the chat. So maybe not.
Ahmed.
Don't stay tuned. Oh, Salvin Ahmed. All right, maybe we're gonna pivot to that. But I like your Waddle angle. Certainly, Tyreek Hill will be catching a ton of ownership, rightly so. And fun time to zag there with Waddle. It did feel like last week they were kind of going out of their way to get Waddle a bunch of looks. Maybe that continues here. So and what was his price, Waddle?
7,600.
Yeah, I think that's a good price, especially if you look at the total. If you think of the game script, Kramer, what do you like?
Yeah, it's pretty big savings. What, 1,700 down from Hill? I'll go right to the top of the board, but not all the way to the top because Jamar Chase is still only 8,300. Got to stack Burrow with Chase. That was how the lineup started. They're all the way back. I'm always fucking open, whatever you want to call it.
Did you see the?
That was Jamar Chase's flower speech.
Well, when Zach Taylor brought him in after he had that speech and said, "I love that comment," I go, "Oh, okay, they're ready to go. They're gonna rip it."
Yeah.
Now, did you see the Devin Witherspoon?
Is he talking shit?
It was like DK Metcalf was saying that Devin Witherspoon, he's going to lock down Chase this week, which is ambitious for a rookie.
Is DK Metcalf projecting on how he's been shut down in practice by Witherspoon? Because Witherspoon's numbers in coverage aren't actually that good. His numbers in the tackling and he's made some nice plays, but if you look at his overall, I don't know if that's something I would be saying out loud.
I would not go out of my way to motivate Jamar Chase. These receivers have a chip on their shoulders.
Jamar Chase is a little bit better than DK Metcalf too. If that's what he's expecting, like DK Metcalf is just like a dump truck. Jamar Chase is like a dump truck that they used for Fast and the Furious and threw some jet engines on it.
A dump truck with NOS. I'm going with the sack, Mike Evans. He's questionable right now, but it looks pretty good that he's going to play.
Love the Q though. That's going to keep his ownership down.
It'll keep the ownership down, $7,100, with the exception of the Saints game where Lattimore always kind of handles him, and he had the hamstring late. He's had a touchdown in every game. He just looked really good. Has a good connection with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield smartly stares him down and throws him the ball almost every chance he gets. He was close to having a massive game against the Eagles. Had a couple drops there, a couple missed connections, but $7,100 against this Lions defense, which I still think you can. The Lions defense has been better, but on the road, I think they're going to be able to throw on them. And we just saw the Lions just lost their cornerback for the year, blew out his ACL. Unfortunate for them, but I think this is a good spot for the Tampa Bay passing game. Give me Mike Evans, $7,100.
Coming off the bye too, Sean.
Yeah, and so I'm optimistic he'll get the hamstring figured out. But stay tuned to the pregame show Sunday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific on the YouTubes. Who's your second receiver, Sebastian?
All right. Yeah, and Evans there, he had full practice today, so that was big. Todd Bowles flat out said he's going to be a full go because hamstrings are always scary. And, coming off that, he had a DMP Wednesday, so I was a little nervous about him, but I actually like that play a lot. I think the Bucs are going to be pretty frisky this week. All right, let's go ahead and we're talking about DJ Moore, 6,500. So this is one of those things where I don't love to have too much faith in the Bears offense. That's always a little bit of a scary thought. But if the ball is in the air in Chicago, it is going to DJ Moore. That is what I've learned so far through these first couple of weeks here. So I think that, for potentially a guy who, he's a wide receiver 1, 6,500, I think is a pretty good of a steal price. And nothing about the Vikings defense scares me in any capacity. Kirk Cousins can throw for all the yards in the world, but they still find a way to lose this season. So I think DJ Moore and the Bears might have a day there.
Yeah, and maybe the potential weather scares people off of playing Fields and DJ Moore, but yeah, they lit up that Commanders defense. I'm with you. There's nothing looks good on that Vikings defense as well. So DJ Moore going off would not be a shock at all. Kramer,
I think I am not prepared with the information, but I feel like there's some historical DJ Moore, Patrick Peterson.
Ooh. Wait, Patrick Peterson's on the Steelers now.
He's not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, all right. Yeah, that never mind.
Come on, Kramer, be locked in, brother. What's going on
I
here?
am locked in. Because I was thinking about a moment where I'm pretty sure they fought on the field. It was anyway. Now moving along.
Who's your second
double
receiver?
Stack. So I'm going to double stack with the non-mechanic version.
Ooh.
Boyd, who, by the way, everyone's talking about T. Higgins in a contract year. You know who else is in a contract year?
Tyler Boyd?
Mr. Tyler Boyd, professional wide receiver. So much so, still wears the number 83, Sean. Loves receivers. Last week, Sean, 7 targets, only 39 yards. But I like that kind of target production when I'm paying $4,600 for my second leg of my stack. I thought about getting gross and going Irv Smith, but then I remembered that Irv Smith sucks, and all he does is break your heart. So kept him out of the lineup. Went with a double wide receiver stack for Burrow, $4,600, Tyler Boyd.
We mentioned it when we were breaking down injury news with the I like Tyler Boyd, but I do think Trenton Irwin, if Higgins is out, something to keep an eye on.
Okay.
But it sounds like Higgins will play. We know, or Zay Jones is doubtful, as we mentioned at the top of the show. I think this creates a great opportunity for Christian Kirk. I know everyone is going to likes the narrative with Calvin Ridley, and he does have a chance to go off. But Christian Kirk at $5,400, I think there's a real connection that he has with Goldilocks, a.k.a. Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson seems to trust him in the offense. And with the exception of that first game at the Colts, look at his numbers. 11 for 110 against Kansas City. Houston, he had 4 for 54, 8 for 84 against Atlanta, 6 for 78 against Buffalo. If he can just get that touchdown on top of 70 receiving yards, maybe 6 catches, I think this is a good price point for him. Christian Kirk, $5,400.
And if you're playing a Lawrence stack, I think you go Kirk and Etienne if you want to get off the Ridley.
Real.
And Ingram will be popular, I have a feeling, and so will Ridley. So I wonder if that's the way you get a little weird. Although, because people will see that Ridley just absolutely smoked the Colts.
Yes, I think he'll catch a ton of ownership, and maybe rightly so. But I like the zag here for Kirk, $5,400. Feels like the right price. Sebastian, how say you? Who's your third receiver?
Yeah, and not to be a company kiss ass, but 2 solid professional picks there, gentlemen. I like both that Boyd, pick guy. So H2P, West Virginia last night. How was that shit you ate? I just had to get that out there. Sorry.
Man.
Poor
money line. Poor money line, Mac. Not only they lose, but you could not lose in more excruciating fashion than the West Virginia Mountaineers. I picked the Mountaineers on the show, laying 3. I felt so smart on that last second touchdown. And then how do they not knock it down? Amazing Hail Mary by Houston.
Houston had 2 other receivers were in position to make the catch. It was one of the more poorly defended Hail Marys I've ever seen, considering they forced the quarterback to roll out against his butt. The wrong way he rolled out. It was college football. That's one of those moments, just like when a kicker misses a 15-yard field goal where you go, college football. Let's go.
Sebastian, what do you got?
Yep. All right. So we got, I'm going revenge game angle. 5,800, Jacoby Myers. Man, I've loved riding his anytime touchdown, his reception props. Obviously, underdog, I don't know when they'll get with the program, but hopefully they keep realizing that maybe, Jimmy G, when the ball goes in the air, it is either to Devontae Adams or Jacoby Myers. Hunter Renfrow is MIA. Maybe Jimmy G realized that throwing to a white wide receiver in the slot, maybe not what I want to do.
The slot.
But hey, But I like Jacoby Myers here. I think obviously he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's been a target hog. And Belichick, I mean, obviously, who knows what the hell's going on with New England, which is, as a Giants fan, is beautiful to see. But he does take away what you do best. And the best thing about the Raiders is Devontae Adams. So he's going to take whatever foot soldiers he has left in a very beat-up defense and focus them on Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. And I think Josh Jacobs is probably going to have a good day too. But Jacoby Myers is going to absolutely feast on this very, very bad defense. I really love this play. It's probably my favorite play today. Jacoby Myers, 5,800.
Yeah, I love this play. And I'll give you just kind of a tag on with the Devontae Adams stuff. I think I've heard people throw this theory out. I'm in agreement that I think Devontae Adams, if it wasn't for the fact that they were playing the Packers, he probably wouldn't have played last week. By all accounts, he's really struggling to lift his arm with that injury. And even talking to him after the game, they did the post-game interview, he was highlighting how injured he is to the point that they were even like trying to target the ball low to make it easier for him to catch so he didn't have to reach up. And his motivation against the Patriots, I don't know. I think Myers is in store for a massive target share. So at that price point with the Devonta Adams injury, and it's kind of the best of both worlds because he's out there playing, but he's not going to be 100%. So maybe people still click him. Whereas if he's officially ruled out, then Jacoby Myers, everyone's going to be on him. I think this is a very sharp play, Ryan. This will be my sword effect sharp play of the day for Sebastian.
Best Ball Mania 4 ownership.
Oh, here we go.
27%. Jacoby Myers. 27%. That's all 13th round, ladies and gentlemen.
CLV.
Wide receiver.
CLV.
Wide receiver number 3. Well, my advance rate's pretty impressive considering my Dan Jones ownership right now. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 3. I'm bringing it back. Not with DK Metcalf, who can't seem to practice through a little rib boo-boo. Not Tyler Lockett.
Ooh.
What do we love to do, Sean? We love to get the rookies involved coming out of the bye.
Oh, I like this angle.
The fantasy nerds are telling you Jackson Smith and Jigba's only running routes around the line of scrimmage. That's what the scouting report will read. That's how the Bengals will look to defend. Oh, wait a second. What did the Bengals pioneer last year to stop Mr. Patrick Mahomes? The too high shell that's existed for 30 years, but they pioneered it. And what is that going to be? What is that going to be perfect for? Jackson Smith and Jigba. They're going to take away the deep stuff that Geno likes to go to. And I think it's time, right? We heard Brian Hartline, the wide receivers coach at Ohio State, say this is the best receiver out of the bunch that he's ever coached at Ohio State. So let's see it coming out of the bye. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Sean. How do you win $1 million? You go down to the 3,000s and you hit 3,600. Brought back with Burrow. Let's go.
Very sharp play there, Ryan.
No.
With a nice narrative.
You said only one sharp play for the show, so you don't have to.
That was Sebastian's sharp play. That was. I'm awarding one sharp play to each of you, and you just stumbled upon yours, right?
Take your fucking charity.
Wow, you see how angry he is, Sebastian? I try and compliment him. I bust his chops. He gets angry. I compliment him. He gets angry.
Sebastian,
you can't win with this.
I think they just got to cut Sterling Shepard. We got to get rid of the boat trip mojo. It's just got to be gone.
Oh my, yeah. No, I mean, well, first of all, Sean, let me say, thank you, Chef, for the sharp awardings. But no, Kramer, man, that holy shit.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's cut him.
What is going on? I don't want to hijack this and turn this into
no. We won't. We're moving forward.
Absolute.
We're moving forward.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yep. No rear view, baby. Let's go. Hey, 0-0, 1-0 this week. Let's go.
If only Sebastian was in studio, you guys could hug it out, have like a nice long chat.
I'm also starting to question if the famous Kramer and Terrell hug last year, week 1 at the Westgate, was maybe has
the champagne a little too early.
Boat trip vibes. All right. Who's your wide receiver 3, Sean?
My wide receiver 3, I'm wearing his jersey, Devonta Smith. Shout out to producer Jeremiah. We were talking before the show. He's a Jets fan. A little nervous about Devonta Smith because second receivers, especially Sauce Gardner, who by all accounts should be okay, if he's going to be on A.J. Brown, I think you still can pass on this Jets defense, especially with their second cornerbacks. Are kind of banged up. And last but not least, Devonta Smith is coming off a Let me see. One catch for 6 yards. Nick Sirianni.
So they found him?
He
was on the milk carton.
1 catch, 6 yards. Very, very low output for Devonta Smith. Now, Nick Sirianni is very aware of this, especially with the receivers. He does a good job of managing targets and making sure guys get involved. The last time he had a 1-catch, 15-yard game, it was against the Lions. This was in 2021. Followed it up the next week, 5 for 116 and a touchdown. Devonta Smith has those ceiling games in him, and I think against this, banged up secondary outside of Sauce, I think he can really get his, weather permitting. But I'm going to roll the dice. $7,000, Devonta Smith.
They also you said they're going to be focused on A.J. Brown. I heard the coaches say they're going to be focused on stopping the tush push.
Oh, yeah.
Which maybe if that's drawing their focus away from playing real defense.
Everyone's it's unstoppable. And then 9 other teams tried and can't do it. Hey, you know what you can do, though? Sign up for Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code SGPN. Get a 100% deposit bonus up to $500. Limited time offer. We just did our props episode. And, of course, Underdog Fantasy doesn't have NFL props, but it does have your favorite fantasy pick'em. You can go higher or lower. And you can get up to 100x in one game. Perfect way. Throw a little pizza bets on there, $5-10. Imagine winning 100x. It's really a fun platform. Of course, the Resurrection Draft starts this weekend. Kramer and I did an episode with Andrew Robb from the SGPN Fantasy Football Show. That was a ton of fun. So Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. If you're not getting involved on Underdog, I don't know what you're missing out on. And then, last but not least, $100,000 Sunday. So if you just play one game with one of their featured players, and they feature a different player every day, higher, lower, doesn't even matter if you get it right. You're entered into the contest. They give away $100,000 every Sunday, 10K to 10 people. Underdog Fantasy, promo code SGPN. And, of course, Hall of Fame bets. Oh, man. I know they're known for their parlay optimizer, but also really good for DFS, I've found myself, because if you hit that deep data button, you can see, hey, how many times has this guy hit 75 yards? How many times have they scored a touchdowns? What are the percentages? How do they match up? It's a really great way to let them, let the computers do the heavy lifting. You don't need to spend hours and hours digging into this data. Hall of Fame Bets has you covered. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching. Start winning with Hall of Fame Bets.
Sean, real quick, because
yes,
you did tell me earlier in the week that we should start A.J. Brown in our high-stakes fantasy league. Are you saying we should maybe sit him down?
No.
Okay.
I still like A.J. Brown.
It kind of felt like I heard you not directly say it, but reading between the lines, maybe we sit him down. But we can move on. We'll discuss this off air.
So, some of that was, and we'll see what happens with Sauce Gardner, because I was thinking Sauce Gardner might be out. Now he's listed as questionable. He had an illness, so I do think he ends up being okay. We
do have Foreman, so we have some running back flex options.
Oh, okay. But the Jets cornerback DJ Reed, concussion, did not practice and was ruled out. And then Sauce Gardner dealing with the illness. So, yeah, I think that could be part of their issues.
Tight end time.
Tight end time. Everyone's favorite. Sebastian, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I just want to make sure, as a medical professional, Sean, you are spending $7,000 on a guy who, if he just turns sideways, is essentially invisible.
Oh,
are we sure Casper is worth $7,000?
You guys would trade like 5 first-round picks to get a receiver like Devonta Smith. I mean, I realize he's I know you guys go ahead.
We were going to draft Devonta Smith,
and then we stole
Dallas, and then filthy. We can't. Yeah, I'm not. Oh,
you guys traded with the Cowboys. You traded with the Cowboys.
But hey, Kadarius Toney, baby. Let's go. Defeated the Eagles in the Super Bowl. That's all I need.
Well, Kadarius Toney, another touchdown for Kadarius Toney last night. You guys could use some receiver touchdowns. Just saying. Wow.
It's getting dirty.
Yeah, we got Cole Beasley. We got enough rappers in the studio.
Stay tuned for VEASAN for our 9 o'clock show for maybe a first touchdown from the Cole Beasley. Right? is Cole playing?
We're not talking about this anymore.
Why?
Yes, he's
Cole
playing.
Beasley is a fun play in the red zone.
Of course he is. Get out of my notes.
Sebastian, who do you got for your tight end?
Yeah, we're gonna still stick in the NFC East here, and we're gonna go to the Commandos tight end Logan Thomas, former quarterback, 3,500. I just think that he had 11 targets last week. Watching that game, being forced to watch the Commandos on prime time. Sam Howell seemed to love him over the middle. The Falcons are really bad against the tight end. Really, both these teams kind of suck against the tight end. So I think that Logan Thomas is going to continue to have opportunities. Jahan Dotson, speaking of Capsper, has been a ghost this season. Terry McLaurin still seems to not be over that toe injury. I don't know what's going on with the wide receivers there. Sam Howell seems to love the safety valve over the middle. So I like Logan Thomas at a very cheap price. Obviously you got the Laporta injury news. A lot of people are going to be taking Hawkinson this week. So kind of something to zag with in Logan Thomas, 3,500.
Ooh. He's
former Hokie great, Ryan.
Insane amount of targets. I do think that stacking that game with receivers is going to be an interesting, especially the Falcons receivers. I think the Commanders might make Ritter look good again, potentially through the air. And I'll say this, Sean, sneaky shootout game right there.
Ooh,
sneaky shootout game.
Really?
Yeah, random over. That not a totals guy, but that's the one I'd circle.
Well, if there's anyone to get right for your offense, it is this Commanders defense.
Yep. All right. Maybe you have the same tight end. Zach Ertz. I thought about going McBride. Felt a little too cute still. Zach Ertz. I needed to bring back for Kyron Williams. I did want to stack that game. Thought about messing around, getting Hollywood in there, but Zach Ertz in the tight end spot allowed me to free up a little bit of dollars to do the other stuff. So, and again, his price being $3,600, there's some other guys around him. I don't think he's going to be a massive play like he has in the past. And again, I think it's a nice way to stack this game. Add in the Rams have had some struggles against tight ends in a couple games this year. So back-to-back $3,600 players, Sean. Kind of looking like $1 million lineup.
Oh, it feels like one.
Yeah.
All right, for me, my tight end, I'm going Brock Wright, $2,500. He is my bring back on the Tampa Bay Bucks. You're laughing, Ryan. What?
I love it.
He stepped in for Laporta when he had 3 catches, 16 yards, 62% snap share. I think he will be the guy. Unless am I misreading the Lions depth chart?
Sean, you are not doing anything incorrect.
Okay.
But you should go deeper. Because if you look on
James Mitchell?
No. What I mean is you need to go deeper and see that James Mitchell is also on the injury report and not practicing. So it is a Brock Wright bonanza.
And it's Brocktober.
It is Brocktober.
Last but not least, Brocktober. $2,500. I think he's a fun. If you're looking to just fill in a $2,500 guy, he's certainly interesting.
New shirt in the store, Brock Hard Right.
Yes, because we're sick of Brock Purdy. He's kind of he's past the annoying threshold now, and we should switch it up. Brock Hard Right. I like that, Ryan.
Brock.
He'll probably maybe if we send him one, he might wear it. I doubt there's a lot of other media outlets creating Brock Wright T-shirts.
And honestly, if you win $1 million with him, Brocktober shirts as well.
Oh, I'll get a custom Lions jersey that says Brocktober.
Yeah,
can't wait.
Yeah.
Shout out to Easy, big Lions fan. Close it out, or almost close it out. Who's in your flex spot, Sebastian?
Oh yeah. Let me go back up here. Yep. So. The Panthers, they have a hashtag on the X that says "keep pounding." So, I want you to stand with the Panthers and the people of Carolina and take Raheem Mostert at 6,400. I know we talked about him, but like we said, Jeff Wilson is doubtful, which basically means he's going to be out. The Panthers suck, and I think Raheem Mostert, in solidarity, is going to just keep pounding the Panthers defense.
It is amazing. He's such a good running back. It doesn't matter that he fumbles every week.
No, and Mike McDaniel's like,
woo, ain't smoking my weed.
I don't know if he just has short-term memory loss where he forgets that Raheem Mostert fumbles all the time, but he's in on it.
They
don't care.
It's like, we have Frank's guys, the guys who like to study the Lord's work. Well, With McDaniel, it's guys who like to watch McGruber with him.
Oh, okay.
And Mostert is in on that. So
I thought it's like the blunt circle of trust.
No, well,
you and Mike
maybe
McDaniel.
The blunt circle may also take place during movie night, but yeah, I think they probably hang out. That's what first coach that just chills with the players, vibing.
Vibe.
Mike McDaniel is not cool enough to be in a blunt circle. I mean, hey, listen, as a member of the world's greatest military, I don't know what drugs are.
Yes.
Never seen them. Nothing about that. But I've heard through the readings, Mike McDaniel definitely not cool enough to be in the blunt circle. Absolutely not. Definitely not.
I mean, but he'll make you a sick ass cold brew.
Oh yeah.
All right, Sean.
The barista. We got to bring that nickname back.
I don't know. Yeah, we got to recirculate that Photoshop. I don't know if you're an old time listener, you may remember the days when we used to have Dick Olson on.
Yeah.
And Dick Olson, he didn't abide by stacking rules or correlation. He did have one rule though: you never hide money in the flex. You know what I just did, Sean?
Oh no!
I hit a lot of fucking money in the flex. Double stack the Rams, bring it back with Ertz. Give me Cooper Kupp, 9,000. He's all the way back. Play him until he's 10,000. Don't overthink it.
I mean, it felt like watching the game live. It felt like he had a quiet game, and then you look at the box score. It was 8 for 118. Just give these guys one more week. I think it's going to be bonkers.
And a pretty nice matchup too.
Yeah. No, in my Stafford lineup, I do have the Ertz bring back with Kupp and Nakua, so I'm with you there. I have a little game stack there. I was with Sebastian taking Mostert in my running back spot. In my flex spot, I'm going, how can you not have this guy in your lineup? Adam Thielen, 5,900. You can keep raising the price on him. I'm going to keep playing Adam Thielen. We really got to get him back on the show, even though Ryan keeps calling him a liar. But all this guy does is rack up garbage touchdowns. In the last 3 games, he's had 29 catches for like 328 yards, 2 touchdowns. The first game, he only had 2 targets. After that, it's been 9, 14, 8, 13. He's got 3 touchdowns in those games. He's not an amazing receiver by any means, but the volume is there. They're going to be in garbage time, and he is. I mean, we need to get like a Men at Work Photoshop because he's just a guy taking out the garbage.
He is amazing at receiver. That's why. So we live in a world now where you have a RAS score that will live with you forever. And if you're not athletic and you don't do flashy things, people don't think. I mean, it's the same. There's a number of receivers who just get open. And yet every year we're surprised when they're getting work. I mean, Deontay Johnson, right? Everyone wants him to not be the guy, but every year he gets tons of targets. Why? Because he gets open.
Yeah.
Why did Richie James get all these targets for the Giants last year? Not a good receiver. Why were we seeing Richie James start to flash in the red zone stuff for the Chiefs? Some guys just get open and some guys don't. And I have a feeling that all the other guys, I did crowbar in a Richie James reference there. All the other guys in that team clearly just don't get open.
No one creates any separation except Adam Thielen. And clearly Bryce Young is hesitant to throw into tight windows. And it's just awesome times for Adam Thielen. Who's your defense, Sebastian?
Everyone's favorite.
Hell yeah. This is how you really separate football guys from just like nerds, analytic, like, let me look at the numbers. No. You got to know fucking defense to be well-rounded football. So I'm going with the Houston Texans. $2,900. First of all, Jalen Petrie is back, and this guy was coughing up blood a couple weeks ago, and now he's on the field. So you got to commend that as a football guy. But I think that game in general is just going to be pretty ugly. You know, the Saints, they don't let up a lot of points, so I think they just tend to play in games that are lower scoring. I think Derek Carr, still has some limited practices. It's dealing with the effects of that AC sprain. Chris Olave dealing with the toe injury that he picked up in pregame last week, or at least that's when we first heard about it. He played the whole game, but he didn't look very good. So, I think that could just be an ugly, low-scoring game. Texans are a very frisky team. Obviously, Ryan is very aware of how the Texans can show up in good spots here. So give me the Texans. I think they surprise some people this week, and I think it's a low-scoring game where the Texans get some turnovers, and they pull out a victory.
Sean, Dameon Pierce with a little Texans defense stack
That's
goes
fun.
nicely in a lot of rosters.
Yeah, I love fading the Saints offense, especially coming off a game where they put up 34 points. Now, there was that 7 from the defense, but so I think their offense is inflated. But if you actually watch that game or dug into the stats, you would see their offense still kind of sucks. I'm loving fading them this week. I
was reading some of the practice reports from Houston this week, and they made mention of basically D'Amico Ryans having plans for Alvin Kamara. Ooh. So I'll be curious to see if they look to take Kamara out of the passing game, what are they going to do? Stingley takes away a hobbled up Olave. I'll be curious to see how the Saints look. I think it's going to be really bad. All right, I already told you who I'm taking. If you paid attention earlier. No one else. How many lineups are in the Millie Maker? Like 600,000. I don't know if I'll be duped a single time with Ramondre and the Patriots defense.
Yeah.
How do you not?
It's a baby fucking wheel, man.
Jimmy G's still doing his thing. We were discussing this earlier. Probably going to take Devontae away. Although if Devontae's really banged up, this will be an interesting kind of configuration. J.C. Jackson kind of got acclimated pretty quickly. I certainly like the idea that Belichick gets up a little higher for his former assistants and teams that he hates. And so in this case, I doubt he wants to lose to chubby Josh McDaniels. Belichick, is this the last game we see him? If he loses this game, does he just quit?
Oh, man, that would be Belichick quitting. I don't know what the odds would be on that, but it would have to be bonkers.
What happens first? He quits or gets fired?
Well, now supposedly
first coach fired.
Yeah,
what's his odds for first coach fired? That's a great. Can we put that in right now? That's actually. I don't know what the odds are on that, but
I'm looking it up.
That would be something.
I'm looking it up.
If we're really gonna lean into this whole conspiracy, because I'm not gonna lie, I think the Raiders do win this week. So if that happens, I mean, shit. That either that or the city of Boston just absolutely, there's something that just happens off record.
Well, and
they took him down.
And who knows how to shut down Jimmy G better than Bill Belichick?
Yeah, this seems like I think we're going to come away from this game one way or another, and we're going to either be surprised that Belichick has just quit at the podium, or we're going to be like, oh yeah, Jimmy G sucks.
Yeah, and you got the close eye special angle. Ryan, you love it. $3,800. The Eagles defense shocking the world. Ryan's enraged. Oh, come on, against the Jets offense, Elijah Vera Tucker, the right tackle, is gone. Mekhi Becton is perpetually banged up. Hassan Reddick's going to have a big game. Fletcher Cox is back, and yes, Jalen Carter is out. Darius Slay is out, but if you imagine that the Jets are going to be playing from behind and they're going to be forced to pass a lot, that's going to create a number of opportunities for strip sacks. I think they're really going to, even without Jalen Carter, I think the defensive line has a very big game. And at $3,800, I mean, Elijah Vera Tucker was their best offensive lineman. They're really going to miss him.
Jalen Carter's out of the game?
Yes.
Out for a drive? Okay.
No, Ryan, he's out for the game.
Okay. You're breaking that news right here?
Yes, I'm breaking that news.
Got it.
He is out.
Wait, I think I hear him barking. Hold on. Oh no, I don't. Yeah, it might have been a mouse or a little squeak.
Yeah. See,
that's a bold play with 3 starters ruled out already. I mean, I know Zach Wilson sucks, but you were the one who was touting him last week. So I mean,
we're not. I mean, you got to look at. Let me explain handicapping here, Sebastian.
Real quick, Zach Wilson.
Hold on.
He is 2-1.
Let me go back to school after my many fucking years of school. Let me go back. Hold on. I'm in class. Let's do it.
Matchups dictate these kind of things. Now, the Denver Broncos defense, even with all their starters against that Jets offense, much worse than the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense will take care of Zach Wilson.
Sean, everyone loves when you pick Eagles on the show.
No, that's if you look at the reviews, they said more Eagles picks. Do you think it's not a good play, Ryan?
No, I love the play. I love your defensive play. It's great play. A lot of leverage. You paid up to be different.
I did. Do you think a lot of people are going to be playing the Eagles defense?
No one will play the Eagles defense.
See, I can't even tell where Ryan's sarcastic. That's how angry he is.
That's how good my characters are. Fucking locked in.
I do have a serious question.
Yes.
As a fantasy owner of Zach Wilson, Darius Slay has been ruled out. So what, are we saying James Bradbury, which, RIP, not forever a Giant once you cross that threshold. How are we going to match up with Zach or Garrett Wilson there?
Okay, yeah, because you started off by saying fantasy owner of Zach Wilson. I'm trying to imagine what league you're in that you would have Zach Wilson. Garrett. No,
absolutely not.
Garrett Wilson, I think I'll say 5 for 75. I think assuming he's healthy and assuming the win's not that crazy.
Who's guarding him?
I think they'll put that'll be interesting.
But Bradbury doesn't guard guys like that well.
Yeah, it'll probably be Job, or they'll probably go out of their way to double him.
So we got to start Garrett Wilson then. Seems like we should be start.
Now that Darius Slay's out, you could talk me into it.
Chime in the comments. We got Mike. We have Mike Evans, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Deebo Samuel. We can start 3 of them.
I honestly kind of think Deebo is the guy we don't start.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be shitty weather.
Just seems like that's gonna be the ugly game. Now maybe Deebo gets there with a bunch of runs, because that's why he's tough, because in an ugly game they could just hand it off to him like 12 times.
This is the most Sean's wavered on benching Eagles and starting non-Eagles.
Oh, I'm joking for the air. We're not playing Garrett Wilson.
Wow.
But I mean, what are your other options there, Sebastian?
No, I'm just because I'm looking at, all right, you got Carter, Justin Evans, and Darius Slay all out, right? So, I mean, I really don't want to start a Jet, to be honest. Garrett Wilson's been someone who I thought with Aaron Rodgers was, electric this year. But now I'm looking at my team. I'll probably go Mike. Well, now I got Mike Evans. I was waiting for the hamstring. So I got Devontae Adams and Mike Evans, actually. Yeah, and Brandon Ayuk. So this question is irrelevant, but I was curious, as someone who I saw that 7 hanging on the Eagles, and I hate to take the Eagles, but I like making money more. So, I was one of those things where are you? Oh, wow. All right. I'm genuinely curious as a Eagles fan. You got 3 starters out on the defense, but you're playing the Jets. Like, are you actually worried, or is this one of those where it's like, yeah, all right, good.
No, I'm not worried.
All right.
I'm not worried.
For the record, Sean's never worried until it happens, and so this isn't the week for it to happen.
No, I've been worried before, but I wouldn't use my confidence in the team as a metric of outcomes. But I feel confident about this team every Sunday, and every Sunday they've gone out and got a victory. Pretty good at ATS as well. Eagles are a good football team, gentlemen. Jets aren't. Sometimes it's just that simple.
Didn't hear you say we.
We'll put you on a.
We're going to kick their ass on Sunday. Hey, big thanks to Sebastian for hopping on. Make sure you follow Sebastian for all your injury-related questions. Does a really good job of responding to the latest injury news. You can follow him on X at SGPN Football Doc. Thank you, Sebastian, for coming on. A lot of fun. And, he's all over the fantasy channels as well, so keeping you up to date with all the injury news. Hey, if you're listening to this on Friday morning, streaming it live or got it live, still time. Check out our VSiN show tonight, Friday night, 9 o'clock Pacific. You can get it over on VSiN.com or YouTube TV, wherever you get VSiN. A lot of radio affiliates as well. Make sure you get in on that Second Chance Survivor, $3,000 up for grabs, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor, and the Hippie prize pack is up for grabs. You get a pack of lighters, a book bag, and a tie-dye t-shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Sean, 3 hours of pregame content starting at 6 o'clock a.m. on the West Coast Premier League Gambling Podcast feed. Check it out.
Kramer, let it ride.